All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. I'm coming to you today with Natasha Roberson. And I met her through some trainings that one of my uplines, Julie, has done. And then I got into another training, and here, lo and behold, it's Natasha again. And I'm so excited because she has a wealth of knowledge for entrepreneurs and anybody that actually has a business, how to organize your schedule. And she talks about buckets and what to put in those buckets and being able to just like have boundaries and when you can say yes and when you should say no and all that kind of stuff. So I'm giving you the stand, and tell us about yourself and what you do and what I'm learning. Like, I've been in this session for a couple of weeks, and like there's so much knowledge I got to keep going back and replaying because it's just like so much information that you give us.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. I am excited to share a little bit about that. So my name is Natasha Roberson, just like Kelly introduced me as, and I am a mom, a wife, business owner, traditional business owner, digital business owner, and network marketer. And so a lot of hats that I hold. And in that process, I've had to learn a lot about business. So I started in business, traditional. I got out of college and I'm like, all right, let's try this job thing. And it just wasn't for me. And I knew that pretty quickly that I like to do my own schedule. I don't like to have a ceiling on what I can earn. And I just knew I was going to step into that entrepreneur space. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't have a actual mentor at the time. I just stepped forward and said, let's do this. People ask me all the time, how did you do it? I'm like, I failed forward. And so that's what I'm sharing with you guys right now is what I'm going to share with you is all the things I have failed forward and figured out. And then when I learned about these people called mentors, first they are just, they're distant mentors. You're reading their books, you're learning from their videos on YouTube. And then you actually then have some mentors that are real people that are your friends and that they're
really like that's how I met you. And I see you as like a mentor into my business and how I'm getting started now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited.
Think about it. Like, I have, John Maxwell was a big mentor of mine. He didn't know who I was, but then the day I met him, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to meet my mentor, so your mentors are anyone that you're learning from and that you admire and you grow with and through your journey. And so, what Kelly's talking about is organization. People always say to me, you are just so organized. How do you stay organized? And I'm like, because if I don't get anything accomplished. I am irritable, right? Yeah. when you don't get things accomplished, you are just irritable. And then that's not good for you or anyone around you. And people just don't want to be around you, nor do you want to be around yourself. So I learned when I first started my studios where we did personal training, nutrition, and massage. When I started the first studio, and I was like, all right, I got this schedule down. And then all of a sudden we grew. My schedule was full. I needed to bring on more people and more people, more people, more people. Next thing you know, I had a staff of 19 individuals and anywhere from 200 to 300 people walking in through our studios. And I'm like, this is a lot. We had to find organization because we were failing at so many things. Things were falling through the cracks in that traditional business, right? We were falling through the follow-up. We were falling through the paperwork. We're following through with payment. And I'm like, all right, hold on. There's got to be some organizational tools out there that I can learn that we can implement. And, that's when I had to figure out, was paper my way or was digital my way, right? And I'll tell you right now that through my journey of entrepreneurship, there's been times where paper was my best friend. And there was times where digital was my best friend, because if you're traveling a lot or you have multiple locations where you're doing business, sometimes it's not easy to have a paper calendar go with you everywhere. When you're traveling on airplanes every week somewhere new, it's not easy to have that paper. But when you're home, we're all kind of in this like COVID thing. Right? I'm not sure. I hate saying the word, but we're
right. I do too. It's like, stay away.
Yeah. So we're home. And paper may be the best thing for you right now. Seeing a big laid out, paper with all the strategies and your plan of action in front of you. And it may not be. So what I'm here to say is I don't know what's going to work for you, but I know that any person that I've talked to that's had success in their business, whether it was traditional, whether it was a Fortune 500, whether it was online, whether it was network marketing, direct sales, it didn't matter. Those that had success, I asked them, when did you feel the most calm and the biggest momentum that you've had during your success? They're always telling me, when I had a plan, I worked the plan and it was in my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why we need a calendar. And so I ask entrepreneurs all the time. I ask my team all the time. I ask, people who consult with me about different things in their team. And I ask them, I go, let me see your calendar. Not every single one of them, more than half, do not use a calendar. And that's the first problem, you guys. Like, if you don't know what you want, when you're going to do it, how can you ever get to the end point of that, right? We got started, Kelly, and I knew you were going for a promotion. And I asked you, when you hitting that promotion? When's it going to happen? I have a plan, right? Now, we can't control the results day to day, but we can have a plan that we work to make that happen. And she's like, I'm going to have it by Thursday. I'm like, why not today? And she's like, well, okay. That would be awesome. But, you have a plan and you look at it and you take the action every day to do that. So calendars are so important. I don't care if you use Google Calendar. I don't care if you use iCal. I don't care if you use a journal or you just a lot of times I'm constantly jotting on my most favorite way. Some days it's just computer paper with no lines where I can just draw my lists out. But I have a plan. And then I'll tell you every single day, and I learned this a long time ago in my calendar, if there's white space, that's time to waste.
And that's what I liked, like in your training where you were talking, like, if you're in a 9-to-5 job, do you go to the bathroom and do you get on this?
They all do
with it.
They all do.
Are you using it for your business or are you using it to just scroll and see what people are posting? And that's huge because a lot of us get stuck in the scroll instead of those 5-10 minutes that you're, out taking a smoke break or you're in the bathroom or whatever is so key that you can still use that to work your business.
Or sitting in the car. I remember when I had my traditional businesses still, and I would sit in the car after I got done with my, I locked up the door, got in my car, and I would sit there. I grab my phone, right? That's the first thing we do. It's this magnet to our hand and we just have to open it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I couldn't tell you how much I scrolled. I'm sure I wasted a ton of time. Now, especially, I'm not sure about Android, but with iPhone, it tells you how much time you're on each app. So I challenge you guys to look at that. Are you on Facebook scrolling more than you're in Messenger? That's a big sign that you're not actually doing effective action every single day to build your business. Conversations lead to sales. Bottom line. And you're not having conversations on Facebook. You're having them in Messenger. Yeah. So that's a challenge I have for myself every day is to have double the amount of time in Messenger as I have on Facebook. So for me, I'm usually in Messenger 2 to 4 hours, depending on the day. And so that allows me, I feel okay if I'm in Facebook for an hour a day. I don't feel so good as a mom and a wife when I didn't get the bucket of family filled and I spent an hour on Facebook. I knew I could have used that hour towards them. So I want to swing into that buckets now because a lot of times people aren't sure what to put on their calendar. They're like, what do I put? And most people will just put their IPAs, right? Their DMOs, their income producing activities, their daily method of operations. So they'll put their reach outs, their follow up, their social media. They'll put their, those things on there. But what about some of the other goals you have in life? Like fun, friends, family, faith, health. Those are buckets. Those are buckets that deserve your attention just as much as your business.
Right.
And that's when we start to get this wheel that you get stuck, right? You have only 20% of a bucket filled when your business bucket's like 90% filled because you put all your time and energy into business, but then your family and your fun and friends is kind of like down here. So guess what? You're going to hit a stuck point where you feel like you cannot go any further. Things are falling apart. And why are they falling apart? Things are so successful here, but so not so good here.
Right.
And I like to look at my buckets every single week, every single month, and every single year, to be honest, and go, what are my goals with my family this year? What are my goals for my health this year, this month, this week? What are my goals for my business? And then as I look at my calendar, I make sure all those things have time slotted out for them.
Yeah.
Now, people will say, you put in there your family time. I'm like, yes, because if it's not on my calendar, I'm going to waste time. Like white space is wasted time. So my family goes in there. You'll see from 4 to 8 every single night. It is family focused time. Now we're, doing stuff. We're having dinner. They're cooking dinner. We're doing all the things. Now, are there times I take calls during that time? Yes. Especially if the boys are watching basketball game and I'm like, Mom, don't need to watch basketball game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this. Yeah. But I do have it planned out. And so they get my time. My husband gets my time. My business gets my time. But I also have boundaries. Yep. Because a lot of times in our industry, it's like from the moment we wake to the moment we go to bed, we're on. Mm-hmm. And your messenger's going off. Your text is going off. Your tagging on Facebook and Instagram is going crazy. And you're just on. Yeah. Well, what about your health? What about your self-care? What about your time that you need to self-develop and read?
Right.
If you have all these things happening and you don't put boundaries in place, you're still going to have a offset wheel. Mm-hmm. Your buckets aren't going to be equal. And you're not going to feel like you have full success, right? You're not going to feel fulfilled in your success journey. Yep. And so those are things that when I look at organization, first it starts with a calendar and knowing what to put on it.
Right. That was huge. Like when I got into that class and you're talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed because I have my little gratitude journal and, it's got a space here for schedule. And I'm like, I don't really know what's put on it. Mm-hmm. And so like this was huge and like getting my binders set up for, having follow-ups and having different, and it's like, now I've got to go do the homework of going back and like, where do I put the people? Where do I, and how do I schedule it out so that like the other day I was just so irritable and frustrated. And like what you were talking about earlier, like I didn't feel like I got stuff done that I needed to get done. And I was like spending too much time over here and not any over here. And my husband's like, what is your problem? I'm like, I don't know. Just like, leave me alone. I don't know what's going on. And it's like, you said that. And I'm like, well, that's probably why I was frustrated. Cause I didn't like fulfill what I felt like I needed to get done that day. And I felt like I was pulled in every direction cause I didn't like have a time and like my calendar wasn't scheduled.
It works so well. It does. And it takes time and effort. And it takes commitment to stick to it, right? So there's a lot of things that could happen. Right now I'm focused on this, but I can guarantee you in my messenger, I probably have 10 or 12 more messages in there. I have my kids in the other room. There's a lot of distractions that can happen, but you have to have your commitment, your boundaries, and your focus. And so you get it done. Yeah. So like for me, for instance, I reach out to anywhere from 40 to 50 new people a day. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. And most people would be like, oh my gosh, I can't even do 10. Like, how do you do that many? When I'm focused on a reach out, when that's my task at hand, I grab my list, like you said. You know your list, right? If you don't know who you're going to reach out to, yes, it's going to take you all day to reach out to 10 people. Mm-hmm. But if you know where you're getting your people, then you can easily have that list in front of you and just have the conversations. Now, the biggest thing I can tell you is if I don't get through all the initial conversations before I start responding, it will take me all day.
Yeah.
So my boundary is I send out all the messages and then I can go and respond to people who's responded back to me.
Yeah. And that was huge for me when you were talking about that in the training. That was huge for me to hear that. Like, you don't need to respond right away. Like, just leave it sit there. You can go back to it later. And it's like, oh, yeah, like that totally gets you off focus if you're going back and respond. And then it also looks like you're just sitting on your Facebook waiting for them to message you back.
I'm so desperate for you to message me. Yeah, no. And that, you think about it too in our line of work is if people are like, okay, you sent me a message and you were like available right away. they might think like there's no way I could do what you do. I don't have that kind of time. Mm-hmm. But when they see that you send a message at say 8 a.m. and you don't get to the response until 8:45, they're like, oh, it doesn't have to happen so fast. It has to happen within the day, of course, but within, a timely manner of, you got to get things done before you can then start the next. So the way I schedule my calendar, the first block is reach outs. The second block is follow up. Why? Because I'm going to automatically want to get in there with conversation from the follow up of the reach outs. So I schedule it that way. So then I know the first 2 blocks in my day are conversations.
Yeah. Hey, Julie just commented. She's telling us hello.
Hello. Hey. Yes. And the next thing off of that is where do you put your list? Where do you organize stuff? Because there's so many options out there. I'll be the first to tell you, my reach out names, my follow up names cannot be on my schedule. They cannot be on my calendar. Mm-hmm. Too much, I just paralyze. I do nothing. If I see too much, if it's not organized in one phrase per line, I'm oh no, cannot do this. And I'll go Netflix it all day.
Yeah.
I will. I'll be I'm avoiding this and I'm going.
That's where I get stuck. It's no, that's too much. I'll do it later. And I'm no.
And so I have on my calendar reach outs, and then I have a list with my reach outs. So it's separate. And then I feel it's calm, it's organized, it's all good. Mm-hmm. And I'm not freaking out because my calendar looks just so much that I have to do.
Yeah.
And so, I use Trello for almost all my organizational stuff. Now, if you're not familiar with Trello, totally fine. I still also like my notebooks with little tabs in here. There's tabs in here. I still have some stuff that's like that. You can use your note section in your phone. You can use spreadsheets. I think those are dead, but some people still use them. If you're going to use a spreadsheet, at least do it on Google Drive so it can go anywhere with you. But there's so many ways. You just have to have a way. You have to use it. And, there's systems that I use when it comes to follow-up that I'll share real quick that I haven't shared yet in the training, is instead of me going and making a list of all the people that I talk to and who I got to go back to and put them on a calendar like that, to me was I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I didn't do it, right? I didn't follow up because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to play the game on my calendar. So what I do is I talk to almost every single person in Messenger on Facebook or Instagram. That's where I'm at. So today is the 24th.
Today's the 23rd.
Today's the 23rd. And so I'll go back to October 23rd. And if there's still messages on October 23rd that are still there from that date, that means I haven't talked to them in a month. Let's pop them back up into message.
Okay. How do you search? Can you search by date? How do you do that?
I just scroll to the day.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking to 50 plus people a day. So if I can scroll, y'all can scroll.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's worth it because there might be only 5 or 6 people you haven't talked to in that month. So you evaluate, do I need to bring this conversation back up or are they dead? Mm-hmm. Not meaning they're dead, but the conversation's dead.
Right.
I had to rephrase myself.
I understood what you meant.
And so that's just a little tool that I use because people are like, when do you follow up with this person? I'm like, well, I just keep having conversation. I'm with 40 to 50 new conversations a day. I'm not worried about the ones that haven't responded to me. Yeah. I'm married to the action, not the result of a conversation at that point. Because the more people I talk to, the more yeses I'll get, the more interest I'll get. And then I can go back on a 30-day and see, do I need to bring this back up? And usually there's like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that I haven't talked to in about, a month. So that's just a little trick that I do. But yeah, there's tons of organizational stuff out there. It's a matter of doing what works for you, but doing it. You got to take action every single day. And so, yeah, I'm excited. We're only halfway through our time management course, and we still got 3 more weeks of it. And some really good stuff coming.
You can catch up before you actually have your Zoom call, and then I can be on and be like, hey,
I know our fourth week is not until December 3rd because we have Thanksgiving here in the US. So we're taking this week off. But yeah, it's going amazing. People are having massive results. And, one thing I'll tell you, I do have a generic course tonight, which is super fun on my Facebook. And it's all about finding the leads in your stories. So I'll tell you the strategies I use to get the amount of views I have, but where all of my leads come from. My leads, 11 years into this industry, 11 years, my leads have never been so massive. And the only place I get my leads from is stories and YouTube. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be sharing some of those strategies tonight at 7:00 on my Facebook. So you guys can check that out too. It's super fun, but I can show you how many people to talk to and then scheduling that. And so when you have, like, for instance, I have a story that has over 600 views. Out of those 600 views, I have people I haven't spoke to. I don't know them. They know me. We're friends somehow. I don't know them. So I need to have that conversation. Or I have people viewing that I didn't even know were watching what I was doing, right, from my past.
Yeah.
So that one story, that one will give me approximately 200 people to talk to that aren't with my business. And so if you have 200 people to talk to from one story, I think y'all will be pretty happy about that. But then where to put the people? How to organize who you're talking to, where they go, what bucket they go in, and different things like that. That's all things that are fun to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been in network marketing for different things. And of course, the company I'm in now is like totally different because I'm actually like learning how to work the business and organize the business. And like everybody's a team together. So everybody wants to win. They want you to win because it just like, it doesn't matter what platform you're on and who you're with, everybody in the organization wants to win and wants you to win. And so it's like, I've learned so much in the last 6 months of how to even work a business that it's like, and then I get connected like to you through Julie. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you're not in our company, but I still was able to connect to you and learn from you. And it's been amazing. It's like, I've learned so much, even just in life, being able to schedule to feel like you've been productive. Because the stay-at-home mom, like I do have a job. I'm a nurse, but I only work once a week because I don't have to work more than that.
Yeah.
And so it's like trying to figure out, I homeschool and trying to figure out my schedule and work that all out. And it's like, I'm really enjoying your class because it's like, I really need to like fine tune and just really get it laid out and get organized. And that's like not my strong suit at all.
I'll tell you. So one of the testimonials from the time I did it with my team, I did this course with them, and somebody who like, I don't have time to work this business. That was what I would get all the time. And I'm like, girl, I hit the top of the company with more crap on my plate than you have on your plate. So let's figure out what's happening here. And so we sat down, and the problem is she wasn't working the plan, right? She wasn't working the plan. She went from not having any time in her day to work her side hustle, is what she called it. I call it our vision hustle, right? It's
there you go. I like that.
And so she, from that, within 3 weeks, she went from having no time, stressed out, I'm never going to go anywhere with this. And I said, let's just organize this for 1 month. Let's put it all out there for 1 month. You commit to it. Within 3 weeks, she was done with all of her IPAs, business IPAs for the side hustle within 35 minutes.
Wow.
She thought it took her all day to get half of the things done because she had so many squirrels, so many distractions, so many obstacles, and she didn't have a plan. And so we put some stuff into place, and she's like, I can do this business in 35 minutes a day. So it looked like 10 minutes here, right?
Yeah.
Break time, another 10 minutes here, and it was focused. It wasn't Facebook. It was reach outs. It wasn't Facebook. It was follow up. It wasn't Facebook. It was checking in on my team, doing a team promo, seeing how I can do some 3-way chats with them. Like, it was all about moving the needle forward versus feeling so stuck. So guys, I mean, it works. I see it every day work, and I'm excited, just take control of that organization, that calendar, and watch things.
Well, and that's what's helped. Like, we do these Zoom call power hours, and they break it in 15 minutes. So it's like, even if you can't get on that power hour, it gives you the tools for 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here. And it's like, you can do that and still have a full-time job and still be able to work this. And it's like, okay, this is cool. So I've gotten somewhat better, but I'm not quite where I need to be, because I feel like I have a lot of wasted space and a lot of wasted time that I really need to fine tune and focus on. So
one thing I shared, I think last week, was it in boundaries, is there's going to be a time of your day where you have this is your bang time. This is like where your brain works the best, your energy is the highest, everything's there. So during that time, make sure you make it worth your time. That's when your reach outs, your follow-up are going to happen, versus it being in a time where you think it just fits into your schedule. So, and there's a lot of tweaking that happens to your schedule to make it like, this is what my day should look like. This is when it feels the best. This is when I have the best results. And then, just know this is your plan, but don't beat yourself up if you don't do the plan to a T every day. Life is going to throw you lemons, and you got to just make your lemonade and go, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm good. I mean, the thing I used to do in the beginning before I had a really good schedule is, I'm like, all right, I fired myself today. I am done. I'm fired. This isn't going anywhere, and I'm getting frustrated. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and rehire myself and do a different mindset, and we're going to crush it. And so it's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it is, guess what? Instead of beating yourself up, just tomorrow's a new day. Today's over.
Times I've told my team, you don't want me on a three-way chat tonight. I am not good to you. Go to the next. I am not good to anybody right now. And you got to know those boundaries as an entrepreneur. We have to know when we can and when we cannot do something. Yeah. Because it's for the best interest of everyone.
Right. And to be okay in saying, sorry, and be okay going, it's okay to say no. Like, you owe yourself that. And that's tough. Like, being in this business, it's really tough thinking like, I can say no. Yeah. Like, for real, I can say no. Like, it's okay to say no. That's been tough.
I remember, it takes me back to the very first hard no I ever had to say. With my massive growth that we had incredible momentum. The CEO would always ask me to do these random, hey, can you jump on this call in 20 minutes? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? And I'd be like, yeah, because, of course, why would you say no? And then I was like, no, I can't. I am at a basketball game, or it's those non-negotiables. When I got my head and my mind around my non-negotiables, where I'm like, my kids and my family, when we're at this, that's a non-negotiable. So I'm going to tell anybody no, whoever they are. And so I remember that very first one. And he's like, I respect that. Thank you for being honest. And I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That didn't kill me. And he's, so no isn't going to kill you. No is not going to stop people from asking you. No is just going to set the respect of a boundary that, hey, right now I cannot. I'm not good to you or me. Let's just schedule a different time, or I'd love to do it next time. And works off great for everybody.
Yeah. And I like recently I've started my gratitude journal, and it's like, that is huge to start off your day being thankful, and then set your goals of, if it's just for today, if it's, which right now I just do daily goals. This is what I'm going to get accomplished. And it could be as simple as, I'm going to go take a shower and put on some makeup today. Like,
today was like, I'm actually,
so it's one of those that it's like, just getting me to sit down and go, this is what I'm going to do. And setting a to-do list and different things. And it's like starting me on that track of it gets you prepared for your day, even of waking up and being thankful and grateful for what's going on in your world, even though 2020 has been a nightmare of a year. Like, who would have thought when we came into 2020 that we would be a nightmare at the end of the year?
We were doing all of our Christmas decorating, and I always like to grab a couple new ornaments every single year that kind of match our themes and stuff like that. But like, I was like, okay, like the Grinch, the Elf, like that's kind of, I have a 6 and an 8-year-old and they love that stuff. And
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I'm like, there are some hilarious ornaments for 2020.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
There are, because it's been just a like wild, crazy year. And it's like on some instances, I'm like, get rid of it and let's start over. And then it's like, oh, but hopefully 2021 is so much better. And we don't just keep the cycle.
The beauty of it though is because we are an online business, like, we aren't hit in so many, and I feel so blessed and grateful for the fact I said yes 11 years ago to this industry. 6 years ago, I said yes to it being a career. Yeah. And, I started to think like if I still was that traditional business owner and I had the 3 studios where we, counted on the 200 to 300 clients that come through our door every single day, Monday through Friday, if that was what I counted on, like this year would have been like so bad in a sense of could I have had the mindset to get through it? I'm not sure, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's a gratitude. I say every day that I'm grateful I had the guts per se to step through something unknown in the industry I didn't know much about, but I could see a vision and I could see people who, if they can do it, why can't I? That's what I would always say. If they can do this, what is stopping me? And I stepped through that door and I'm so grateful every day, especially for 2020 and all the crap we've went through. Then our kids coming home, right? And not wanting to be a homeschool mom, but becoming a homeschool mom. And
your homeschool world is so different than a traditional homeschool world. Like virtual learning, I would not wish that on anybody. Like that is so scary and crazy. Like I'm so thankful that we were just already homeschooling and we don't have to like worry about a teacher trying to tell, like how hard is that for the teachers? And then how hard is that for the kids and the parents to know what the teachers want and get it all like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what people are going through. I don't have to deal with that. Oh. Yeah.
We're lucky this year. Our teachers for both boys are very, very good. And we give them grace. They give us grace. Yeah. Like having online gym class. Come on. Like I'm going to send my kids outside for 30 minutes to play basketball, football, or soccer. They're not jumping on a Zoom with you. I'm sorry. This is where I draw the line.
Right. Yeah.
But there's been so many good things about it too, because adversity always brings out like all these like obstacles that they've overcome. And I see the confidence lifting in these teachers. I feel, it's hard for them. Don't get me it is so hard, but I'm seeing them grow through it. And it's kind of cool to see because once they get back in person, like things can only be that much better.
Right. Yeah. They'll appreciate it all being back to the way they are used to and probably like just skyrocket who they really are in their teaching skills because they'll be like, this is what I really wanted to do, not online virtual trying to figure this out, and it wasn't like, here, you have months to figure it out. And then you go live. It's here you go.
Here you go. And I remember tomorrow. They're like, we're going to try this system. And none of us parents could log into the system. It was so frustrating. We're like, we don't know. I guess, boys, you're not doing school today. Like, I'm like, I'm done. So no, but I mean, you have to have organization, right? With all the things and all the hats we now have. And you also have to give yourself grace on the things that don't matter right now. If they're not going to push your needles forward to the buckets that you desire to have success in, then that needs to be off the calendar. That needs to be off the distraction board. It just has to be focused solely on the things you want to have success in. And that is friends. That is fun. I'm not saying it's not. It's also business. It's also finances. It's also health. It's all the things. But there's things that you might have to take off the list to get further faster and be okay with that. And, the nice thing is, with all the things we went through in 2020, it was easy to say no to the things that didn't push the needle forward because we couldn't get together. We couldn't have pool parties all the time, right? There was a lot of things we couldn't do. And I was like, I got so much more done in my business because I didn't fill my day with things that didn't need to be done. for what I wanted. So guys, just, just look at things and go, if you're not having the success that you desire, what is filling up your day that doesn't push the needle forward? Get rid of it and get focused.
Yeah. That's huge. That's major. Like, yeah. So I'm so thankful that we were able to get connected, and then thankful that you came on my page and we're speaking to all of the people out here that are watching us. Like, there's so much you have to offer that, it's like anybody out there that's looking for more detailed instructions, definitely hook up with Natasha. She is amazing at what she teaches, gives you tons of knowledge. And I'm so grateful that I was connected to you, because it's changing my world. It definitely is changing my world. It's changing my business. It's changing my family. Like, I'm able to start really figuring out okay, I've got to get this done, and how am I going to do it? And, it's baby steps for sure, because I'm not an organized person. And so it's one of those that it's baby steps to go, okay, I'm going to put these few little things on my list. And when I say I did it, it's like, I got this stuff done today.
Yes. And, one thing I the reason I do all the things I do, I add to, my brand, Mom to Millionaire, and teach everyone in the industry all the things that have helped me be successful, is because it's about the impact, right? So I'm impacting you, creating a more organized day, but then you're going to take this information and teach it to your team of who knows how many. And so that one gift turned into an impact for hundreds of people. And that's what I love. That's why I do what I do. That's what I continue to show up every single day for, is the impact that it makes in people's lives.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm so thankful that I met you. And so, how can they reach you if they want to be able to connect to you? Can you put that in the comments later?
Yes, I can. I was like, I went to go do it, and I'm like, oh, we're on StreamYard.
I know. I know. I was trying to comment to people, and I'm like, oh, yep, can't do that. So we see y'all's comments. We can't comment yet. So thank you for watching. Most of them are my team, or not necessarily. They're not under me. They're all spread out above me or side to side by me. And so I know some of them are probably going to want to end up connecting.
The best thing, and as you learn from everybody in this industry, when you're branding yourself, is brand you. So you guys can always find me by my name on all the platforms. And so I will definitely drop that, the time management course that you were talking about, because it is so good. And so I'll drop that information. But if you guys have specific questions about anything that I talked about today, because it was, just kind of an overview of things, please reach out and ask the question. That's what I'm here for. I want to make sure you guys have success, no matter what business you are in, no matter if it's traditional or it's online, or it's just trying to figure out how to be a mom in this virtual world. I can give you some tips that have helped me and the boys. I have a kindergartner and a second grader, so it's not like they can just do things on their own every day.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for having me, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this time out of your day. And that's why when I message you, I'm like, what is your schedule? Because I know you've got it all figured out.
Yes.
So what's yours look like that you can plug into mine? And I am so appreciative. It was quick. I asked you on Saturday, I think.
Yep.
And we're here Monday already doing this. So I thank you so much for putting me into your schedule. Tons of gratitude there. And I can't wait to jump in on December 3rd to actually hopefully be on the Zoom call with you guys. And I'll be more, I'll have all my binders. I've got them sitting on my desk. Just haven't quite got them prepared yet.
Awesome. Well, let me know if you need absolutely anything. I'm always here for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.